And we are back!
We are back, and I'd like to apologize before anything.
Sure.
Because we did plan on airing the draft live on Instagram, but it didn't work out. I got caught up in the middle of the draft. There was an unprecedented, ridiculous amount of trades.
I mean, you could thank Shimmy Cohen for that. Shimmy was really the trade master. I believe he completed 7 in-draft trades,
Ridiculous.
which drove me wild because I was updating the sheet. So,
Yeah. And it wasn't only a trade draft with numbers. Players were traded.
yeah, it was
also
complicated.
afterwards.
Listen, we're going to get into some fun draft notes. I guess we'll talk about it after we go through the teams. But the purpose of this segment and this show is where we're going to break down each team after the draft. We gave ample time for any trades to happen. And now that we see that the dust has settled and these are going to be the going into the season rosters, we're here right now and we're about 2 weeks away.
Yeah, opening night's the 22nd. It's a Thursday night. We're similar doing to what football does. Thursday night opening.
Right, and then the following week we have a real
and then we have a
opening.
full
So truth, not 2 weeks, we're 8 days away from the season, which
Yep.
is absolutely bonkers.
Really, really amazing. Already in the Sunday morning leagues, teams have been knocked out. So there are people that are thirsty for softball that are not even playing. And even the ones that are in, the leagues are already into the playoffs.
Right.
So we're excited. And let's get into the prime time.
I think, listen, Prime, now sold at the tent. What we're going to do is we're going to go through one team at a time. To the best of our ability, we're going to, I guess the defensive alignments. And then from there, we'll go one team at a time, and then we'll give our predictions, our preseason predictions, which mean absolutely nothing, as we know.
Zero.
However, we're going to do our best.
Every team has their holes. Every team has their ups and downs. Let's go through it. Let's start.
With one team, one dream, captained by SJG, last year's champion.
Yeah, so the biggest question on this team, believe it or not, is SJG himself.
So he is nursing a bad wrist,
Thumb,
something in his head.
Yes, it was from using WhatsApp too much, and he has a thumb issue. But truthfully, he was diving, and he landed on it, and he's nervous. He's not going to be ready for the season, and rumor has it, who knows if he's even going to be ready for the first month of the season.
Wow,
who
so
knows?
this is definitely something to pay attention to. SJG, obviously a premier player in this league. We don't want anyone being injured.
Was first pick overall this year.
Right, so due to the lottery. So
Right.
really, if he's missing any time, he's entitled to anybody he wants.
Very important to remember the league rule that you are entitled to pick a player if you choose it to be yourself as captain or somebody else. So exactly, it shouldn't hurt that team much, but you got to scramble and get a player. But this team, I love.
Listen, they're pretty solid all around. I do have a few questions that maybe you could help answer, but let's go through. We have Stephen Gindy playing shortstop. We have Joe Ciferati, who's obviously going to be in center field. Then we have your son, Yitzchak, a.k.a. Erwin Sutton, on the bump, and he's only getting bigger, better, and stronger.
Yeah, now he was taken early. He was taken in the third round. Pick
Number 21 overall.
Yeah,
so.
last pick, third round. But for a 16-year-old to get picked that early, it's high praise to him. It was after the other two pitches were taken, but I think a big plus on that pick, by the way, and I'm going out here on not on a limb, I'm saying it. Yitzhak carries a better bat than both Eddie Rary and Edmund Beda.
But we didn't get a chance to see that last year, as his captain didn't really put the bat in his hands. So
True.
Either way, let's move on that team. Then we have Yankee Gutman, I believe, playing second base.
Great pick for second base. Shortstop, it hasn't been great, but for second base, tremendous pick.
He is a World Series winner playing second base.
Yes.
And then we have Yitzhak Sutton's cousin, Yitz Safdie, manning center field. And we saw last year, also a champion, that he could play center field with the best of them.
Yeah, he's a gold glove center. We hope his bat comes around a little bit better than it was last year, but he could be good. And then the all-around player, David Sabag.
Yeah, David, I believe he'll play some right field, play some short center.
Second base.
So my question is, where does Eric Citron fit into this puzzle?
Big one, third base.
Oh, really?
Eric Citron is this team's third baseman, and that Stephen Gindy during the draft actually pulled me to the side a few times asking about third basemen. I watched Eric play shortstop for Hillel for 3 straight years, and the kid was great.
So listen, that's an important piece. That was my one question mark going into the team.
I'm confident.
Then we have Albert Sitt. We know he could play first base, could play some right field, could play short center. You can put him. This team has a lot of players that have multiple positions they can play.
And Albert Sitt's bat is a quiet, stunning bat. Meaning he goes cold, but he has those days we can pop one and use the field. He goes all fields.
And then that number 57, I think this is the latest he ever went, is the Night Stalker, Avi Dweck.
Yeah, so Avi's getting a little long in the tooth, maybe. He's 41, 42 years old. And that could be why he's going a little later. But Avi's got a great swing. He's a big hitter.
Then, rookie to the league, we have David Paul Sutton. I know I expected him to go higher in this draft.
Yeah, so
but
I was shocked only because of what you told me.
in DPS, he can hit. The kid can flat out hit.
Talk about could hit. The next player.
Oh, for sure.
I think.
Yeah, listen, he was good last year. Danny Shabbat.
I think he was the bright spot of that Michael Cohen squad that barely got into the playoffs. This kid went very late for what I saw his bat, the potential, and what he did do last year.
So, and not only that, he did get married this past year. So Mabruk, Danny. I know they changed your last name to your wife's wife's maiden name. Is that true? I think it is. I forgot what it was. But Danny Shabbat playing either catcher / DH, and then they got Victor Shrem, who also could be in a pinch, put him in right field. Yeah. He's been catching. He's been playing short center. A lot of guys can play multiple positions. I know Steven likes to pick that way because you could shuffle the deck a bit and you can keep everybody happy.
Yeah, and Victor Shrem does get on base. He always gets walked. So I like this team a lot.
If I had to grade this team, I'm giving it a solid B+.
I give it an A. The reason I like it, any hole that this team has isn't glaring. Meaning there's some teams as we go doesn't have something. I think this team is not lacking offense. Joseph Ferrati, Stephen Gindi, Yankee Gutman, and then the other guys that Yitzhafti.
Listen, I can see their lineup tailing off after the first half.
Funny, as I said, I watched. Avi Dweck better hit.
They need guys. They need Sabag to hit. They need Albert Sitt to hit. They need
but their late picks could hit. David Paul Sutton and Danny Shabbat and Avi Dweck. That's 8, 9, 10 in your draft. You guys have like that. Even at the top of your lineup isn't world beaters. The bottom end could carry a little bit. That's tremendous.
All right, so like solid squad. Let's move on to the Diamond Busters, captained by Gabriel Gabe Abadi.
Yeah, so Gabe was very excited going into this draft. He came with a plan, it looked like. And I think the fact that he knew he was going to be with his brother Carlos helped. Two things shocked me. What Gabe did.
Quite a few things shocked me, but in a good way. I actually like his team.
So he went for a pitcher early. He got Edmund Beta.
Obviously, Gabe at shortstop as a first overall pick. Then he wasted no time, like you said, and grabbed Edmund Beta because he wanted that pitcher, because we knew he experienced some bad pitching in the past in this league. I mean, last year his team went to the World Series, not necessarily last year.
Was with Max Yedid
and he had Yedid, so he saw what a good pitcher could do for you. However, the year before, he had Del Sonny. He had Sonny Shalom on the mound.
So got the job done, but it wasn't, it's a battle.
It wasn't a stud on the mound.
So he went with Edmund Beta, who was the first pitcher drafted this season.
Yeah. And then the next pick I thought was a great pick. At number 17, he got Buka. And
so to me, Buka is, I'll never call him a great pick.
A great pick. Great pick.
I don't call it a great pick yet. I say it's potentially the best pick in the draft. But otherwise, okay,
I disagree with you.
Show me.
In the third round, it's a great pick. I think what he could bring to the table in the third round is great.
Yeah, we'll find out.
And then the shocking pick was the next pick. He ended up shocking the entire draft room.
We made a trade to get this guy.
He was about to be drafted, and then Gabe traded up and sniped Saban, I believe, who was going to take him.
Yeah.
And he took Aharon Hank Dweck.
Right. So we found out that Aharon, Hank Dweck, and Gabe do play Mexican Mambo. They do things together.
No, they did start a league. They started a league of something of that sort.
In the basement. So something we found out later. But he liked Hank's bat. Hank is only getting bigger and stronger every minute. And Mabruk Hank on a
beautiful baby.
So then they got Carlos, a veteran pick. They took Teddy Ishak to play third.
Listen,
put some personality on
the happiest person with that pick was Teddy Ishak.
He wanted Gabe.
Because Teddy wanted Gabe, and Gabe wanted Teddy, and Gabe wanted that character / guy that's going to bring everybody together, and no one does that like T.I. And listen, we're going to get onto this in a little later, but how is Sam Yes is going to fare without a guy like T.I.? Well, two different types of captains, but really interesting combination.
Now, I like the pick of Yehuda Fallis. I think he's right now still trade bait. I wouldn't guarantee he's going to end up on this team because Yehuda Fallis wants to pitch. I mentioned he could pitch, and I found out he'd be happy to pitch. And there's other teams that maybe could use a pitcher.
And his brother did pitch in this league way back when, and he was the face of Mound Game.
That's right. Now, Yehuda could play the outfield, and he could hit. Then they had Nathan Kushner, Leo Setton, a rookie in Jacob Franco.
Let's go back to Leo Setton for a second. Last year he struggled. Last year he was not the Leo Setton that I was expecting. I think we're going to get a more comfortable Leo Setton this year.
So Teddy Ishak, who was by the draft, and after he got drafted, he said he saw Leo coming along at the end of the year last year. Now, Leo did not have an opportunity to be in the postseason because their team didn't make it. But Teddy said he saw the last 2 weeks, kid was coming around and he was hitting the ball hard.
So I'm a fan of him. He's also a great kid. There's nobody better. And he's built like, he's like 6'2", 220.
Want to get a nice watch, call his dad as well.
That's true. Then you said rookie Jacob Franco, I believe, to be playing second base for this team.
So that could be good. From what we know, Jacob did play shortstop in varsity.
No, he did. I coached him.
Yeah,
he was pretty good.
So he had good hands. Now, when is he dusting off his glove right now? Has he been playing?
Listen, we said brother before. Another brother that this team has that played in this league was ABJ Franco. So Jacob, we know he comes from good stock. His brother did win the batting title once upon a time in M&S. And I think he's going to be a good player. And then the last 2 picks, I don't know what they're going to do here. But Gabe ended up going with El Dongo, and I thought that was their catcher, but then they took Alphonse Mystery, so that's a question that we're going to need some resolution on.
Right, so the easy answer, you would imagine maybe Elliot Anthony will get game 1, and Alphonse will hit. In game 2, Alphonse will catch, and El Dongo will hit.
But they'll be like one player.
Yeah, so maybe they'll like it, because each of them doesn't usually get their at-bats, and maybe now this guarantees them 3 at-bats each. And then they'll get their time behind the plate. That's just me.
Listen, Edmund Beda's their pitcher. They have the foundation up the middle. They have Gabe Abadi. They have Buka. They have the hitting. They have the extra bat in Hank. They have the guy that can play multiple positions in Carlos. They have the veteran in Teddy. They have a lot of good young players. I like this team a lot. I'm going to give this team a solid A- in this draft.
Another team I like, I'm also giving it an A. They have more power than I thought. Buka, I hope you hit up to your potential, and it's going to really make this team really good. Teddy Ishak's been swinging the bat well. He hasn't been hitting well for average in the morning league. I don't know if it's hard luck or not, but I have a hunch he's going to hit much better at night.
I do as well. I mean, last year we saw him get a little injury towards the end of the year, hamstrings and this, but Teddy, we love you, and we are rooting for you to have a great year. Next up, the team which is probably enemy number 1 of everyone in this league right now, and that is captained by Michael Cohen, the Tomahawks.
Yes, a.k.a. the Trolls.
The Trolls. You know what? I'm just going to call them the Trolls.
Now, Michael Cohen went in with a plan that, I'll say it straight, doesn't usually work.
Now, listen, usually if you're going in to take your buddies, you need to mix in a few stars. I mean, obviously Michael's a star, and he does have players on this squad that could really put the ball in the gap like Soli Cohen and even Isaac Sasson, and we have good defenders like Jackie Sutton. One thing this team does have is good defense. However, they're missing at least 2 bats. They're going to need guys like Isaac Mizrahi to come up in a big spot, taking that number 42.
He ended up in a big controversial situation during the draft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th round, Isaac Miz was taken.
Bill.
And Bill, Isaac's a good player. He's a good athlete. He has to live up to a 6th rounder. And you said it, Sam. This is going to have to be a team that wins games 3-2, 4-2, 2-1.
But Max, my question is, who's their starting pitcher? Michael Levy? I mean, the guy might be great, but I never saw him pitch before, so I can't give him a grade.
If Michael Levy's not going to be way above average, this team is in deep trouble.
I mean, let's look at their squad. They have Michael, I'm assuming he's playing center field.
Yeah.
Right? Then you have Soli Cohen probably playing, short center field. Okay, fine.
Nuni Cohen's going to be at short in left field.
Nuni in left. So far their team is okay.
Let's reset this. We said it wrong, and I can tell you for a fact. Michael Cohen will be playing shortstop this year.
Yikes.
Yes. Right or wrong, he did it a little bit last week in a game in the YMSL, last game of the season. He actually looked good there, but putting himself at shortstop. Nuni's going to be in center. And Saul Cohen will be up the middle. Isaac Sasson's in left.
Jackie Sutton at short. We have Bill.
Jackie Sutton at third.
Right. Jackie should be at short. That's a mistake.
But that's what they're doing.
Okay, and then you have Isaac Miz
in right
field, correct? And then you have Michael Levy on the mound.
Ellie Harari's at second.
Morty Grazzi first base. JoJo Cohen second base / infield. Isaac Cohen DH and then Joey Levy catcher. Listen, this team is weak. Let's be fair. Okay. It's weak.
Defensively, I think this team could hang with everybody as long as Michael Levy can throw strikes. I do believe this team, my Jackie at third, is a Gold Glove third baseman. I think Michael could handle the shortstop position.
I mean, Max,
Solely Cohen.
Look at their squad.
Elliot Harari.
Isaac Cohen / Morty Grazzi is their first baseman. Both really great guys. Both guys that they're not zeros at the plate, but if you're not going to be playing Gold Glove first base and you're not going to be batting a 500 plus playing first base, you're kind of a weaker first baseman in this league.
So really, look at the last two teams. The bottom 5 picks compared to the last two teams' 5 picks is starkly different.
Big difference. You know why? Because he was pigeonholed to take his friends.
Right.
So bottom line is this team looks like if they can play defense, and looks like they're pretty good all around the diamond. However, offensively is something to be desired.
My Jackie's going to have to...
And they're going to need Bill Isaac Mizrahi to be a real player. And listen, he can be. Like, for example, this past Sunday, he had 2 home runs in the semifinals.
Nice.
And he was good.
Yeah, Isaac Sassen's going to have to pick up his offensive numbers to extra base hits, not just singles.
So I'll tell you what,
you know?
Max, I see it as a C+. I don't see this team making the playoffs.
I could see it. Now, the reason I'm going to give them a B,
Ew.
B minus maybe, tailing there, I do, like I said, 4 times, I like their defense.
We all do,
and
but you're going to be banking on a pitcher that we never saw before?
They could, if they can scratch runs, the more I'm looking at it, yeah, it's C.
I'm going to be there scratching their balls more than runs over here. This is ridiculous. So, either way, let's move on to the Gucci organization, captained by none other than Mount Sabon, Saban.
Something else. This is another team that I like it, but I think there's too many holes.
Listen, this team is definitely flawed. I mean, let's look. Allie's on the mound. I mean, I don't think that's going to be the case in a few weeks from now. There are, like we already mentioned, we already have Yehuda Fallis, and we already have, we're going to get to a little later, a guy like Ray Sakal.
Yeah,
2 guys that aren't pitching, and this team could use a pitcher.
Yeah, I don't know. Allie just had hip surgery. He's hitting the ball great, but he's not as mobile. He was playing shortstop, and they moved him Sunday morning. I don't know if he was playing shortstop yesterday or not, but I know he wasn't a few weeks ago. Their lineup's great. Jimmy, Allie,
no one's gonna deny their offense. Their offense is there. Like you said, Allie, Jimmy, Mark Barsano. I think Mark Barsano was drafted a bit high over here at number 18.
So Mark is starting to come around even more and more in the YMSL, and it could be that was a good recipe for him, and they might have got him in a good spot. Meaning,
I hope so, because he's a great kid.
Yeah, he groomed in the Sunday morning, and he's going to see these guys, and he started understanding hard and low even more. So I have a feeling it's a good pick.
Okay, good. I hope so. Soli Safdie, as we saw last year on that team with Stephen Gindy team, plays a really good outfield.
And a great hitter.
Good hitter. Then we have Saban, the ageless wonder, like fine wine.
So he's going to have to uptick a little bit because lately he's been not hitting great this season.
Night League, he will always hit.
So
that's his
I
jet.
get it, yeah.
And then Yossi Abramson, who's married to Saban apparently.
Yes. I think he has a room in his house.
I think he has a room in his room.
Yeah.
And then we have Yossi Abramson. We said again, Ruby Sacco going to be playing shortstop. That's also, we're going to have to keep our eyes open. We were discussing off camera. You know, in a pinch, Ruby Sacco could play shortstop. But is he the guy that you're going to go to battle with every single day? You're starting shortstop.
So, like here, they're doing it in the morning league as well, and I'm not sure it's going to be the answer. Let's see. So the question marks on this team is the pitching position. Not that Allie can't do it, but he's coming off surgery. And
right.
You're asking a guy.
And also, Max, even if he does well, it's going to definitely take away from his bat. That always happens.
You have to think so. I mean, you really got to think so. Like, look at somebody like Ike Mavoro, who pitched all these years, and it took a toll on him, and he had to stop. And he's still a premier hitter, and he's still a big guy in the league, but he stopped pitching because it hurt his body. Allie's coming off of a surgery.
Yeah, it's definitely,
on both hips.
They're going to have to make a trade, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think they may, as long as they keep their head above water until they've come to terms on a trade, I think they'll be okay.
Trades in the night league are much harder because of the unbalanced schedule, too.
Correct, yeah.
So usually if you're going to make trades, you better hurry up, because once a team plays 6 games, I only played 1 week, it becomes a very dicey situation. So,
and let's round out the team. They have Jacob Yogi Kassan, rookie in the league.
Good bat.
Victor Abadi, cream of the crop, Victor Abadi. We have Ralph Cohen, the infielder. Joseph Dweck.
That's right.
Who they got at pick number 72.
Is that a rookie? No,
Joseph Dweck's not a rookie. He played in the league before.
Right.
He actually hurt himself one time
on
a swing.
I remember, yes.
Joseph Dweck.
That was on film, yeah.
Yeah, and then
David Coney.
David Cohen. So listen, let's look at it real quick. We have Jimmy at second.
There's another league, I think, in Cape May that needed a player.
In Cape May?
Yeah.
Needs a player.
Yes, I'm not sure. Maybe somebody on this team wants to go there and play.
Could be.
But we'll see.
Not sure.
Anyway, so David Coney, great catcher. So I love the team, but again,
The pieces all have to fit. So
yeah,
now,
Adley's got to prove me wrong that he can pitch.
listen, the more I look at this team, I don't hate it as much as you do.
No,
I mean,
I don't hate it at all.
the question mark really
Ruby
is
and
Ali. You know what? I'm going to give this team a solid B-.
Okay, and Ruby at short in the night field is a little harder. Shortstop position.
So really, the question marks is Ruby and
Ruby
Ali.
and Alley. Otherwise, they have a very nice team.
Okay, let's move on to
Next team, Titletown.
Titletown, captained by Solo Dolo Sammy Esses.
All by myself. All by himself.
So there was an unceremonious breakup between the two-time champions T.I. and Sammy Esses. At one point, we thought these guys were inseparable, and then just like that, I received a phone call saying, "Sam, I'm out. I want in the draft. Don't know what happened. Don't want to know what happened. All I know is peace was made and brokered afterwards." However, it does keep Sammy Esses right now.
One of the things that got their piece was Sarah's tent.
Sarah's tent. We had Mazat platters. I know T.I. graciously gave a Mazat platter to Sammy Esses. Gorgeous, beautiful. You know, really call anytime. I'll get you a Mazat platter. They're phenomenal. But this team started off, I think he was a recipient of a big trade because he had pick number 7 and 8.
He scored.
And Sammy Esses, it fell into his lap almost, where he kept on scoring because he took advantage of that Bills situation. And to start off,
Huge.
he took this guy nutty, Nadav Orbach.
3 weeks ago, everybody does this show says, Nutty, I don't know, maybe he's good. Yeah, I heard good things about him. Now that everybody's...
Now all of a sudden he starts playing in YMSL and everyone sees, and all of a sudden Sammy Esses got a steal at number 7.
He sure did.
Nutty.
This kid is a first-round pick. He's got a great demeanor. He's a 5'2" player. He's straight out there.
And like you said, the demeanor is a big thing. Because a lot of times these rookies join this league. A lot of the guys from Lakewood join the league, and the lights just seem too bright. The way I'm seeing with this kid is
He's not getting
he's
faced.
unfazed. You know, he doesn't. He has a personality. He's like, all right, I'm here to play ball. I don't
Right.
care what you guys are saying.
Exactly, and he does his thing. A really good center fielder, a great hitter, fast. I'm telling you, he's got a great
Speaking
arm.
of speed, good hitting, and good defense, his next pick, Sammy Saruya at
Great
shortstop.
pick. Sammy Saruya is a ball player, and he's excited. I talk to him daily.
Me too.
He's pumped about the league. He can't wait. And those two to start
So
up
think
the
about
middle
it.
is great.
Like you just said, center field, shortstop. You're building with number 7, 8, and they might be the two best at their position in the league this year.
Could be. I did think the next pick, Sammy and I loved to death, Morris Casson.
Mocas.
But I do
love
think
you.
it was an early pick.
Yeah, listen, I think he reached a bit because he wanted Mocas, the man.
I think he wanted Mocas because he doesn't have Teddy.
Yeah.
Not that they're the same guy,
But they could provide the same
Yes.
type of role.
the yin and yang. So Mocas is the louder guy, so he wanted that. And then on top of that, like you said
Well,
before,
this is the score. He ended up getting Melech, which recreates that Mocas Melech Swifty vibe
Yes,
that they had.
that's great.
And that's an important. And he ended up basically holding Michael Cohen over the barrel, and rightfully so. He did nothing wrong. Sammy S is taking advantage of the situation.
played by the rules.
Played by the rules, and obviously we're not going to get into detail what happened, but
Didn't know, who knows, who cares?
Michael Melech Solomon was originally drafted by Michael Cohen, then mid-draft was forced to be traded to Sammy Esses, which ends up bolstering this roster. So now you have Nutty, Sammy Saruya, Mocas Melech, and now here's the question mark with this squad.
This is the question mark.
So now-
he hasn't been on the mound with us in 5 years.
And last time we saw him on the mound, he got hit in the face with a ball and he was out for the count. Eddie Nissim.
He came back and pitched.
As you know, Eddie Nissim's a great athlete. There's no one better athletically on the mound than Eddie Nissim. He's more in shape than literally just about anyone in the league.
He's a CrossFit guy. He's jogging on Crosby all the time whenever I'm driving.
However,
to see him.
Max, at number 31, I'm scratching my head. You could have got this guy 3 rounds later.
So, who's to say? Who knows?
No one was taking Eddie Nissim going into this draft this high. I'm sorry.
It could
I'll
be.
tell you.
I think that Sammy Esses, this is my belief, not that he doesn't like it, but I think Sammy Esses didn't want to be with Ralph Hannon. Whether it's because of Ralph's injury, and I think this ensured that he's going to get the pitcher and not a pitcher that he didn't want.
Okay, so Eddie Nissim, and then
He didn't want Ray Segal, he didn't want he thinks Eddie Nissim is more of a
the
surefire.
devil you know. That's what he went with. Okay, fine. And then Soli Esses, who is only getting better. We saw last year
It's a big question.
at the
Soli
early
Esses.
age of 16 last year, he was pretty good. I think, listen, he's a hardball player. He's an athlete. I'm a big fan of Soli Esses. Soli the kid, even when he's, God willing, 100 years old, I'm calling him the kid.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on him being great yet. I know you're higher on him than I am.
I'm a fan. Listen, I think he has ways to go offensively. I think he definitely has to, groom a bit better offensively. He has to really put it more together. But defensively, he's got a great arm. He's got great range, and he's a gamer. So I like him. I like his
next
demeanor.
pick is swinging a really nice bat now, and I think he's going to be a big cog on this team. David Harari.
More of a cock on this team.
Yeah, he might be, but who knows? But he's David. We love you, but you're going to be a lot of pressure put on you this year.
Asshole.
Because you're going to be in the 4 hole and you're going to have to produce. And I think he may.
Listen,
I think he might.
all kidding aside, we love David. David's a great hitter. I think he's in a comfortable spot. He's back with Sammy Esses, back with some of his friends.
Yeah.
I think it's really a good situation for him.
I think he's getting a position. He's going to get first base and be cozy over there.
Yeah, listen, and he's not going to have to battle for playing time over here.
Joe Shalom coming back, sophomore year, won last year, got some pop.
So he had flashes of. I was watching some highlights of last year's postseason recently. He made a few diving plays in the outfield.
He could play, he could play.
He's a pretty good outfielder.
Isaac Antar Chunk, you were pretty high on
Listen,
defensively.
I'll tell you what my final take on Chunk is. Chunk, he's fundamentally sound. Like I was watching him this past Sunday. He'll cover the bag at all given moments. He's got good range. He goes back good on pop-ups. He's going to pick up the ground balls. He's a slap hitter the other way. He's not going to, tear the cover off the ball. I don't think so. But he'll be pretty serviceable offensively, and he'll surprise you offensively. But he'll be one of those guys defensively you'll be very happy with on your squad.
Speaking about tearing the cover off, this kid Jeffrey Dweck, his size of
Drew Fa is the size of Canseco. I'm telling you, this kid's huge.
big man. He might be in WWE by next year.
Listen, he actually looks like what's that guy, Prince Albert? Remember that guy?
Yeah, sure.
Huge.
Now, speaking of eating, Jesse Elkarat maybe better stay away from Jeffrey Dweck because I think Jeffrey could eat Jesse Elkarat.
So Jesse
He's
Elkarat,
95 pounds,
again,
soaking wet.
Jury is still out. I have no idea what this guy looks like. I have no idea if he's a good ball player. He might come in and be the best player in the league, but at number 80 in the draft, I think Sammy Esses will be, pleasantly surprised if he gives him, just about somewhat contribution to the team.
Right.
And Jesse is obviously eager to get
This
going.
kid's been dying and begging, not begging I should say, but texting year after year after year, and we finally found a way to get him in. And I'm happy for him, and I hope he loves it, and I hope he contributes, and he's a good part of the league.
Listen, I'm looking at this team right now. I'm giving it a straight A. I think this team is an A team. It's obviously the only question mark, which is maybe making me consider giving him a B+, but I'm going to stick with A, is Eddie Nissim. Yeah, the A team, exactly. So
I'm going to give him a B. I'm not sure about Eddie, and I don't like the speed on this team. The top two.
Nutty, Sammy Saruya,
That's
Soli
it.
Esses. Those are three speedsters.
Those are three. The rest of the team, maybe Joe Shalom a little bit, but I don't know. I'm just thinking Melech and Mokaz. Mokaz is faster than you think for a big man.
Mokaz makes the ground
Rumbles.
rumble.
Well, maybe they're faster than I thought, but I'm
Eddie
giving it a B.
Nissim actually has pretty good legs, and he'll actually probably get at-bats on this team as well.
Relax.
R-E-L-A-X, captained by Ray Esses.
So this team got a lot of nice parts, but I think there's some missing pieces.
But I'm looking at it. I feel like they're a trade or two away
One trade.
of making this team into a World Series contender.
Yeah.
However, as presently constituted, we're trying to figure out between you and I who's playing what position.
Correct. They got
Listen,
great outfielders.
their outfield is probably the best in the league.
Yeah, and it's four of them.
Yeah, so Albert
Okay.
Cohen could play center field. He won Gold Glove last year in center
Alan
field.
Jamal could play center field.
Right?
Teddy Braha could play center
Three
field.
potential center
And
fielders.
Elliot Mann is a very, very, very good outfielder.
Right, so that's four good outfielders. That's
Four
number one.
above average outfielders, and some of them elite.
And now go to their starting pitcher. They have Eddie Harari.
Yeah, maybe
Eddie
the best
Harari
pitcher.
Could
Might
be
be the best
could be one of the
pitcher.
best. And we know he's struggled over the last year or so. But
Mabruk to Eddie. Just got married.
love you, Eddie.
Yeah. So So Mazal Tov, the wedding was really, really, really beautiful. I was happy to be there.
And then Max, they even have some good bats in the lineup between Bernie Pindek and Enoch and the guys we already mentioned. And
Uri Adler.
Now, but here, let's get to the infield right now. And we're going to mention the infield
That's
guys.
the question. So I believe you mentioned you have an Ike Mavora and Enoch. By the way, Enoch in his second year, after seeing all these pictures, I think he's going to only get better. And yeah, Bernie Pindek, like you mentioned. Alan Jamal, I don't know what his average is.
I don't know what his health is like either.
But that's another thing. So offensively, I'm not expecting anything out of him, but his outfield defense is great. Albert Cohen, I think, is going to hit. Uri Adler's going to hit, but like Sammy mentioned.
Now look, let's see. Who's going to play shortstop for this team?
Uri Adler is going to play short.
So Uri Adler could get it done, but he's not that guy that you want making diving plays for you every week at shortstop.
Yeah, he's playing shortstop Sunday morning now since that team picked up Nutty. Steven Gindy's out. He's holding his own, but
so maybe I'm wrong.
But he doesn't love to be there. He'd rather be playing third base.
So now who's playing third base? Bernie Pindek?
I think so. Now, Bernie wants the opportunity, and I think he's in a situation that he's excited about. But is Bernie the best third baseman?
I don't know. And then Reyes is probably playing short center field because you have Ike Mavora playing first.
Right.
And we have the spare part also, but it looks like they're going to be giving him playing time is Ray Sakal. Maybe he's playing second base.
Who knows? So I heard you were telling me Ray Sakal could really hit.
Ray Sakal could put the ball in the gap. He really can.
Ray Sakal, I mean, maybe he'll get mop-up duty pitching because Eddie Harari is so nice, whether they're up 10-1 or down 10-1.
And guess what? Ray Sakal has a better fastball than Eddie Harari.
Yeah, but he's not a better pitcher.
I didn't say he was, but he has stuff to
but
beat.
He, right now, he's on the outside looking. He's not going to get any important innings.
But he might get his at-bats. He's probably going to get spots. And then Elliot Mann, where is he playing? Is he playing short center field?
Elliot Mann is a scrappy lefty. He's got some pop for a little guy. He's going to get some innings in the field, I'm sure. But, again, also, I don't know. And Ray Esses has played short center field many times. Hasn't done it in a long time. He's not
and we know
younger.
And he's not going to catch on this team because they have Albert Master, who was my pick to win Gold Glove going into this year.
He's a great
who's probably the best defensive catcher in the league.
So again, offensively, I like them. Pitching, they're good, but their infield defense, to me, is a no-no. There's a problem. I think they have the chip and the piece to make a trade in Ray Sakal. Unless I'm wrong, and maybe he's a great defender on the infield, and it'll be great.
This
I don't
team
know.
could overcome their deficiencies because they do have, above average in certain areas. Like their outfield is, like we said, it's stellar. It's unbelievable. They have a good pitcher, great pitcher. They have good pieces and good bats, but I think the infield play is going to hurt them right now. And because of that, my grade for this team is a straight up C.
I'm right in that line, B-. I think the infield, again, unless I'm missing something here and somebody's going to play infield like a Ray Sakal again, maybe Enoch, he'll be great defensively. And I don't know, again, there's pieces there, but not the names defensively. They could use like an Eli Harari type of guy.
And guess what? They probably could acquire guys like that.
Like an Eli Harari. Like you trade an Enoch for an Eli Harari type. That might help both sides.
I'm looking at Stephen Gindy's team. I'm looking at Gabe Abadi's team. Both of those teams have a lot of these types of interchangeable players, and probably those two teams could be good trade partners with Reyes. But listen, it's very tough to make trades when both teams are so dead set in what their value is on their players. And usually when it comes to a week before the season, I doubt we're going to see a trade happen in the 11th hour.
Let's see how it goes. They have a fun team, and it looks like they're all excited and they're a good group. So
listen, everyone's great. We love everybody. It's just the way they're fitting together on the team. And then finally, let's go to the Masai Warriors, captained by Shimon Shimmy Cohen.
Welcome back, Shimmy. He hasn't been a captain in a little bit. He's always a great captain, and he's back.
Interesting squad, I'll tell you that.
I like his team. It's got the question mark also, but Yaakov Saruya at night especially, even in the morning.
He's a beast. He's a beast. What position's Yaakov playing?
First base, probably.
Okay.
Jackie Towell's going to be in center. It's great. A question mark. I don't care what anybody says. Joe Mamie. Kid's awesome. He's our cousin. I'm high on Joe.
Listen, we saw him play Gold Glove second base.
Yes.
We saw him have spurts of Gold Glove at third base.
Right, on and off. Can he handle the shortstop position?
That's the $1 million. I know Shimmy thinks so.
Okay. I think he can, but I don't know that he's not going to have some a learning curve.
And I'll tell you what.
It's a short season.
And let's just, for a second, on this topic, we have Butchie Cohen playing third, who has not been the same player as he's been in years past.
Yeah, he's been hitting great lately.
I'm actually happy to hear that,
Yeah,
but
he's hitting
defensively
great.
at third base,
Defensively,
hasn't been that guy anymore, and now you have a left side constituted of Joe Mamie and Butchie Cohen. Joe Mamie, we're just asking questions about going into the season, and Butchie Cohen, who is definitely not on the ascending trajectory in his career.
So the thing about Butchie and Joe that I'll give them, more than we were saying about, I'd say, the previous teams, they both, Butchie is a third baseman.
Yeah, he's a
third baseman. He's got a great arm. He's going to handle it. He had years where he was
Gold Glove.
amazing. Yeah, maybe those years are behind him. Maybe he brings it back. He's not an old man.
I think he's 36 years old.
Yeah, he's not old. You have Ralph Hannon coming off injury. I just saw Ralph this morning, and he's flexing the arm that was hurt, like he's fine, and he's really, really upset that he's not playing Sunday morning and he got replaced. He's not happy about it. He won't say this, but I'll say
Water under the bridge. He has something to look forward to in
exactly.
a week from now.
He's very excited about the night league because, but the good news is he feels good.
Okay, good.
Feel good.
And then we skipped Shimmy, who's going to be playing right field. Now Maurice Haber, where's Maurice playing?
Maybe first base.
So we have Yakov at first base.
Oh, you're right. So Yakov maybe plays second base, and I heard Yakov's playing second base in Coyle and holds his own. Has pretty good hands.
I've seen him play the infield, but come on, Coyle is
another good glove.
Coyle.
And Jack Barnathan could play second or short and center.
And then you have super utility Jack Rubin Beebe.
Yeah, could do everything. But
literally is could do it all on the field.
And then there's
everything
this
but
name
pitch
that you talk very highly about. I don't even know how he looks. Ezra Levy.
Strapping young lad. He's about 6'2", also about 200 pounds. Built really, really, really strong.
Sounds like a Men's Health catalog.
Line drive hitter, real line drive. Get the ball, puts the ball in the gap. He's an outfielder by trade. I don't know how these guys translate into the night league year one. I made my mistake by making predictions on guys in years past.
Like Leo Setton last year.
But Leo Setton played good in the outfield defensively. He just didn't hit.
So that would not.
I'm talking about defensively. I have no idea. With the goal ball from the mush ball from nighttime to daytime, rookie.
I don't remember which player. There was one player 2 or 3 years ago you had in left field that you said was a great defender and he couldn't. He made 2 innings.
Joey Batesh.
Yes.
Joe
got it. Good job, man.
Yeah.
He was a great hitter.
I mean, I never say he's a great outfielder.
But you said he could hold his own.
He belongs at first base.
Right. He couldn't hold his own.
But he batted I think he led the team in hitting and in RBIs that year.
No, he's a real bat, that kid. I don't mean he's not playing now, but he wasn't the outfielder. So I'm hoping Ezra Levy does better defensively because we need good defense.
Ezra Levy is not the hitter that Joby. Joby's a top 2-round hitter.
I'm not talking about defense.
Yeah, okay, fine. And then we have Shmuley Lewis in the news, and then Moshe Cheetah Azaji to round off that bunch.
There you go. It's a fun team. I'm going to give it a B, personally, a straight B. There's something about it that I'm not in love with. It has the parts. Joe Mamie's got to hold his own, like I mentioned. Maybe Yakov Saruya is going to DH a little bit. I don't know.
We're almost in lockstep. I'm giving it a B-. And just to recap, I'm not going to go through each team, actually.
Part of the Ralph Hannon question, too. As much as he says he feels good, he's off of an injury. It might be lingering.
But he's country strong.
Yeah, we understand. You could be country strong. If someone hits you in the nuts, it's going to hurt. You know what I mean? So if he has something torn and he can't pitch the way he wants to pitch, it might affect him. And he says he's great now. Let's see what happens then.
I hope not. So anyway, we just went through each team. We're 8 days away. I hope you all enjoyed the show. We're going to do quick predictions.
Yeah, this is the part we love and hate.
Everyone screenshots this and screen grabs it and sends it to me at the end of the season. You were wrong!
Most shows like to pick the 2 teams that are going to be in the finals.
No, we picked the 2 teams because, listen, the way we see it is once you're in the dance, anyone can make it. Wild card teams win the World Series all the time. So we like picking the teams exactly. We like picking the teams that, Swifty.
The Knights.
Come on. We like picking teams that don't make the playoffs because that's the easier thing to pick, and that's more of probably a rational pick to make. So, can I go first? My first team? My first team that is not going to be making the playoffs is the Tomahawks, captained by MC. Don't like the way this team is put together. Too many buddies, too many friends, too many holes, too many question marks. I don't see this team going far. They can play defense. They do have some good ball players on the squad, but just the unit alone on a whole, I don't think matches up well with the rest of the league.
My first team is not going to be the Tomahawks. My first team I'm picking not to make the playoffs is Relax.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, Eddie Harari It had been to him in the past. Maybe I think newlywed, his mind might be elsewhere. He might be rushing to get home all the time. And their infield defense, I don't think it's going to help him out right now. So, sorry.
Now you give me your second team, and I'm going to give you my second team after.
My second team this year was between two, and it wasn't the Tomahawks. I think the Tomahawks are going to surprise people because of their camaraderie, and they're going to play good defense, and I have a really good hunch about Michael Levy. I'm not just saying hunch, talking to people that have seen our league. So I'm not picking the Tomahawks not to make it. It was between two other teams, and I'm going to go with the Maasai Warriors.
Wow.
I can't believe I'm saying it, but looking at it, there's something about it. I'm not.
You're not liking the Warriors. They have champions on their team. They have veterans on their team. They have good ball players.
Yeah, the Ralph injury is scary.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks.
Joe Mamie at short is getting me a little bit nervous. I was high on it. I don't know why. It's starting to scare me a bit.
And then my second team that's not going to be making the playoffs. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready? I'm on lockstep with you on this one. I don't think Relax is making the playoffs either.
Wow.
Because
so Relax is the only common denominator.
And guess what? We could be way off, but unless they fix their infield.
We always are way off.
Listen, their infield just is not up to par right now. They can make a trade right now and make this team better, and I would change my tune. But their outfield is second to none. I think they have the best outfield in the league. They have a really good pitcher, but I don't know, 5 ground balls to the left side, and you might be up 2-0 if you're facing them. So I don't know.
And again, our infield, we say it a lot, it's not the easiest of infields.
No, definitely
the actual
not.
field, I'm saying. So, yeah, it's that's us. That's the show.
Listen, we're 8 days away from opening night.
Opening night, Thursday night, and then we start.
We will be awarding this MVP championship belt to last year's MVP. We'll be announcing it in front of everybody, and we'll make sure he is there to receive the belt. He'll be wearing it all year long.
Thursday night, prime time.
Let's go!
Can't wait to see you then. Good luck. Welcome back, M&A.